Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I am your teacher Saima Zaidi. The poem that we are going to read today is Departure and Arrival. Departure and Arrival is written by TS Eliot. Thomas Stearns Eliot, commonly known as T.S. Eliot, was born on 26 September 1888 and died in London on 4th January 1965. He was a poet and a critic. He belongs to the modern age in the history of English literature. As a poet, his most famous work is his book, The Waste Land, in which he deplores the fact that modern era is a wasteland and its dwellers are the wastelanders. He deplores and grieves at the moral and spiritual death of the people belonging to the modern age. He says that modern society has fallen a prey to materialism and love of money. But optimism is the most remarkable characteristic of Eliot's personality. He believes that religious faith and constant struggle will definitely drive us out of this spiritual catastrophe and chaos. As a critic, Eliot's most famous work is his book entitled as The Critic. He believes in tradition and individual talent. He praises the heroes of the past and persuades and stimulates us to follow the greatness of the heroes of the past, but individual struggle based on personal talent must run along with it. Dear students, T.S. Eliot is not a new poet for you because you have already read his poem in first year entitled as The Hollow Men. Girls, our poem of today is Departure and Arrival. The most remarkable quality of Eliot in this poem is his faith in idealism and optimism combined with courage and fortitude, which inspires us to accept the most formidable challenges of life. Eliot urges us to set high goals and strive undauntedly, guided by our vision and sublime ideals. Constant struggle is essential to arrive at your destination. The struggle to make this world a better place is rewarding in itself. This poem was written to greet the 20th century. And girls, the poet makes us conscious of our duties when we are expected to greet the new century. The new century is coming with all its gifts, rewards, and challenges. We should welcome it. We should work hard to better this world for the coming generation. The new generation will judge our deeds. So girls, let's now read the poem itself. Girls, departure and arrival. Departure is a word, is a noun derived from the verb depart. Depart means to leave, to go. And girls, arrival. Arrival is a word that is from the verb arrive, that is to reach. डिपार्ट यानी कि चले जाना, छोड़ देना. अराइव दैट इज़ पहुंचना, टू रीच. ठीक है. डिपार्चर एंड अराइवल. Standing upon the shore of all we know, we linger for a moment doubtfully, then with a song upon our lips, sail we across the harbour bar, no chart to show, no light to warn of rocks which lie below, but let us yet put forth courageously. Girls, shore, that is beach, sahil. Linger, that is to stop, ठहर जाना. Doubtfully, शक करते हुए. Across the harbour bar, across means के पार. Harbour सी पोर्ट को कहते हैं. चार्ट, that is map, put forth to set out on a journey courageously with bravery and courage, हिम्मत और जुर्रत से. In these lines, the poet tells us what we should do to start a new achievement. He says that when we think of our past knowledge and examine our past deeds, we become doubtful of them. But we do not stop there. We sing a melodious, captivating song, encourage ourselves, and start our journey to new channels and challenges. We are not sure of good chances of success in future, yet we start our journey. Going on the journey, there may be no charts showing the path on the ocean, or there may be no lights to warn us of the rocks or hidden dangers in the deep waters of the ocean. But we take courage and set out on our journey on the sea of future very boldly. So, girls, we have to face life bravely. Some important characteristics of T.S. Eliot as a poet are optimism, symbolism, and idealism. Idealism simply means perfection, to set high goals, to set high aims, and constant struggle to achieve them. And girls, symbolism, symbol means that is a word that represents or stands for some thought or an idea or a situation, right? As you know, girls, that life is symbolized by spring and death is symbolized by autumn. Green color is symbol of freshness, white that of purity and all that, you know. So girls, you have already read about symbols. And girls, optimism means to look at the bright side of something, right? And girls, next is idealism, symbolism, and optimism, right? These are the three main characteristics of Eliot as a poet. Girls, here he also uses symbols in this stanza. The ocean symbolizes the world, right? This world. And the journey symbolizes life. Chart represents unseen future, and the rocks stand for hardships and dangers of life. T.S. Eliot uses symbols to emphasize his thoughts and ideas. So, girls, this world is like an ocean, like a deep ocean. We start our life happily and with good hopes that we have songs on our lips, and we start our journey. The deep ocean is in front of us. We have to sail through it, and we have to face life. We have no chart, meaning to say that the future is hidden, it is unseen, and we do not know the dangers of life that we will have to face in future. That is represented by the rocks lying lying below, girls, and this and that. So girls, but we have to face life courageously, and hopefully we have to start our journey. Girls, let's read the next stanza. Although the path be tortuous and slow, although it bristles with 1,000 fears, to hopeful eye of youth it still appears a lane by which the rose and hawthorn grow. We hope it may be, would that we might know, would we might look into the future years. Girls, although means agarche, the path, that is life, tortuous, that is winding, पेचदार, winding, बल खाता हुआ, bristles with, that is full of, abounds in, भरा हुआ होना. Fears, that is खौफ, terror, horrors. Girls, hopeful eye, meaning to look forward for something good, expecting good. Appears, that is looks, एंड ऐसा मालूम होता है, सीम्स ऐसा लगता है. लेन, दैट इज़ अ वे, अ कोर्स, रास्ता. हॉथॉर्न, दैट इज़ अ फ्लावरी बुश, फूलदार झाड़ी, जिसको कहते हैं फूलदार झाड़ी, जो अमूमन बाड़ के तौर पे लगाई जाती हैं. So in these lines the poet says that it is very much possible that our path, that is life, may be very difficult. It may hinder our march of progress. There may be a number of fears and dangers on our path, but to the hopeful and courageous eye of the youth, it seems a path full of roses and hawthorn growing on its both sides and welcoming him. It is hoped that it may be such a beautiful path. We wish to know all this. We also wish to have deep and penetrating eyes to look into our future and get the knowledge of the coming challenges. We must be courageous enough to face the difficulties of life, hopefully to overcome them. Girls, the next stanza, let's read it. Great duties call the 20th century, more grandly dared than those which came before. Summons, who knows what time may hold in store, or what great deed the distant years may see, what conquest over pain and misery, what heroes greater than were ever of yore. Great duties call, that is, the duties are calling, नए दौर के नए फराइज की पुकार. That is दार्ड, that is gifted, यानी तोहफे में दिए गए हैं, तोहफा दिए गए हैं. Summons means calls, बुलाती है. May hold in store, that is distant future, far off years of future to come. Deed, that is achievement, distant years, far off years of future that are to come. Conquest, that is triumph, yani fatah. Pain and misery means troubles and griefs of life. Of yore, that is of past, of bygone times. Right, girls, in these lines the poet tells us of the channels which are going to open and the challenges which we are going to face in the 20th century. He says that we have great challenges which demand great efforts from us. The 20th century has many channels of progress than the earlier ones. It is calling us with a loud voice. It demands us to face the new challenges. Although we do not know what time has in store for us, yet we must be ready to work and advance with the new times. We also do not know how man will wipe out pain and misery from this world. We also do not know if the 20th century will produce greater heroes than those of the earlier centuries. It may provide us better facilities and possibilities to become great in the 20th century. Let's read the next stanza. But if the century is to be more great than those before, her sons must make her so, and we are of her sons, and we must go with eager hearts to help mold well her fate, and see that she shall gain such proud estate, and shall on future centuries bestow. Girls, her sons, that is the people, the nation. Girls, feminine gender is used for the homeland. Her sons, meaning to say the people of the country, the nation. Eager hearts, that is hopeful hearts. ऐसे दिल जिनमें उम्मीद है. मोल्ड, दैट इज टू शेप, टू मेक, ढालना, किसी चीज़ को बनाना, ढालना. एस्टेट, दैट इज प्रॉपर्टी, जागीर, जायदाद. बेस्टो, दैट इज टू इंडाउ, टू गिव, कोई चीज़ दे देना, अता करना, बख्शना. फेट, फेट दैट इज डेस्टिनी, यानी कि किस्मत, मुकद्दर. Girls, in these lines here in this stanza, the poet says that if the present century is really greater than the earlier ones, her sons, her people will really make it so, and it will be a great century, a great time, and the people will be proud of it. We, her sons, must make efforts with eager hearts and make her destiny as grand and glorious as possible. We shall also see that this century may gain so great and proud legacy that it may bestow its blessings on the coming generations also. The present generation may be proud of it. Next stanza, a legacy of benefits may in future years be found with those who try to labor for the good until they die and ask no other question than to know that they have helped the cause of victory, that with their aid the flag is raised on high. Legacy, it is inheritance, heritage यानी वर्षा, तरका. Labor, that is to work hard, to work arduously. Cause, that is तरक्की देना, to promote. Help the cause to victory, meaning to say to work hard constantly to achieve victory, to get triumph, यानी कि आप अपने मकसद को हासिल करना, नस्बुल ऐन को कामयाबी से हमकिनार करना. So girls, in this stanza the poet says that we should be with those people who render great benefits and great services to humanity. We should be with those people who keep working for the good of others and die. They do not question about their achievements. They only ask and confirm whether they have promoted the cause of great deeds and conquests. We may be with those people whose efforts and aid has caused the flag to be raised high in the sky. We should be with those people with whose efforts and struggle the flag is raised so high in the sky. And girls, the last stanza. Sometime in distant years when we are grown, grey-haired and old, whatever be our lot, we shall desire to see again the spot which whatsoever we have been or done, or to what distant lands we may have gone, through all the years will never have been forgot. Girls, distant years, that is future years. मुस्तकबिल बईद जिसको कहते हैं, फ्यूचर ईयर्स टू कम. ग्रे हेयर्ड, दैट इज़ वाइट हेयर्ड, बालों का सफ़ेद हो जाना. लॉट, दैट इज़ फेट, किस्मत. स्पॉट, दैट इज़ प्लेस, जगह या मुकाम. फॉरगॉट यानी भूल गए, फॉरगेट की सेकंड फॉर्म है फॉरगॉट. And girls, in these lines, the poet says that when in far future we will grow old, our hair will become white, whatever our position in this world will be, we shall visit our old landmarks. We shall feel happy and satisfied that we have done according to our powers and limits, that we have fulfilled our duties, that we have lit the lamp of our part. Remembering the past deeds will be our journey into the past. It means that we have not forgotten the past, rather, we enjoy it. Girls, a line is written on the epitaph or the gravestone of T.S. Eliot. The line is very important. It is a line, "In my beginning is my end." Girls, it conveys the ideas of T.S. Eliot about life and his struggle in life, his work in life. In my beginning is my end. Meaning to say, it means that we should always underestimate, we should not be satisfied with our struggle and our work. Our hard work and our struggle must be constant, it must be ceaseless. And he did a lot, but he says that his beginning suggests the end, means the end was the beginning. He is his ceaseless struggles have no ending. So girls, it's an important line. I read somewhere that a line is written on the epitaph or the gravestone of T.S. Eliot, that in my beginning is my end. The line may be interpreted in some other ways, differently in so many ways, but what I felt when I read it, I understood from it, I came to know from it what struck in my heart about this line is that what I explained, that he was never satisfied with the struggle and the hard work, and he feels that the hard work and the struggle must be endless, must be ceaseless. There must be no stop. We must go on working hard, arduously, and for the betterment of the people and the world. So girls, it was our poem of today. And girls, now I remember from this line that, girls, John Keats, you know him. You have already read a poem by John Keats, that is When I Have Fears. Girls, you have read it, and you have read a lot about Keats. And girls, a line that is inscribed on the gravestone of T.S. Eliot is, "Here lies one whose name was writ on water." It means that his life was very short. He died at the age of 24. He died of TB at the age of 24. He was very young. He was a young man at the time when he died, and all his desires were razed to ground. He had three ideals in his life: to be a great poet. His ambition was to be a great poet, a well-known poet, but he was not very famous in his time. Later, after his death, he was so famous, and he is one of the most unforgettable poets of the Romantic age. So all his wishes thrown to waters, and um, and girls, you have read a lot about him, and you will read more in fourth year when you will read the odes, other poems by Keats. So it is written, here lies one whose name was written on water. ऐसा शख्स जिसका नाम पानी पे लिखा हो. A wave is enough to disappear all the words. So a wave of death, a wave of disease came, and everything about his life was disappeared. It carried away his life. And so, girls, I was remembering this when I read it, the line on the gravestone of TS Eliot. I remembered that the line that is engraved on the gravestone of TS Eliot is here. John Keats is, here lies one whose name was written on water. Okay, girls. Then we will read the next poem, and girls, we will discuss the question paper, and then some points about grammar. We will revise some points about our grammatical questions too, and we will discuss the question paper in the next poem. Okay, girls. Allah Hafiz.